Sometimes the hardest decisions in basketball aren't about what's happening on the court right now, but about what needs to happen off it in 6 months. And right now, the Lakers are staring down one of those decisions that could define the next decade of this franchise. Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, your home for breaking news, insider analysis, and everything you need to know about our beloved purple and gold. I'm here to bring you the updates that matter, the moves that shape our future, and the honest conversations we need to have as Lakers fans who want nothing but championships. Today, I need to talk to you about something that's been developing quietly behind the scenes, something that most fans aren't paying attention to yet, but absolutely should be. Because while we're all focused on the wins and losses, on LeBron's historic performances, on AD's dominance when healthy, there's a situation brewing that could fundamentally alter the trajectory of this team. And it involves the player who's arguably been our most consistent performer this entire season. Let me set the stage for you. We're watching one of the most unexpected breakout seasons in recent Lakers history unfold right before our eyes. We're seeing a player who came into this league as an undrafted free agent transform himself into someone putting up numbers that only elite players in this league can match. Night after night, we're witnessing performances that have elevated this player from role player to legitimate star. The stats don't lie, and they're absolutely spectacular. We're talking about someone averaging 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Stop and think about that for a second. Those are all-star numbers. Those are numbers that put you in conversations with the very best guards in the entire NBA. Only a handful of players across the league are putting up that kind of well-rounded production. Luka Doncic is one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is another, Cade Cunningham in Detroit is doing it, and so is our guy. That's the company we're talking about here. That's the level of play we're witnessing on a nightly basis. For a team that's had its struggles staying healthy, that's had to navigate injuries to key rotation players. Having someone step up and deliver at this elite level has been nothing short of crucial. But here's where things get complicated, and this is where I need every Lakers fan watching this to really pay attention. Success on the court creates challenges off the court, especially when it comes to contracts and salary cap management. And right now, the player I'm talking about is on one of the most team-friendly deals in the entire league. Just $14 million this season. That's it. For someone putting up 26 points a night, that's an absolute bargain. It's the kind of value that championship teams are built on, but that bargain isn't going to last forever. There's a player option for next season worth approximately $15 million. Now, for most players putting up these kinds of numbers, that decision is a no-brainer. You opt out. You hit free agency. You get paid what you're actually worth in today's market. And what is someone averaging 26, 5, and 6 worth in this NBA? We're talking about a contract in the range of $25 to $30 million per year minimum, maybe more if teams get into a bidding war. That's the reality of the situation we're facing. And this is where the Lakers front office finds itself in an incredibly difficult position. Do you extend this player right now before the price goes up even more? Do you wait and risk him opting out and testing free agency? Do you consider other options that might seem unthinkable but could make sense from a roster construction standpoint? These are the questions that keep general managers up at night. These are the decisions that separate championship organizations from the rest of the pack. Because here's the hard truth we need to acknowledge as Lakers fans. Our current core, as talented as it is, hasn't quite found that perfect chemistry yet. We've dealt with injuries, absolutely. LeBron's missed games. AD has dealt with his usual injury concerns. But even when everyone's healthy, we've seen moments where the fit isn't seamless. We've seen defensive lapses that have cost us games. We've seen stretches where the ball movement stagnates. We've seen games where our 3 best players are all brilliant individually, but somehow it doesn't translate to dominant team basketball. Part of that is about playing styles. When you have multiple players who need the ball in their hands to be effective, when you have multiple players who aren't known as elite defenders, you create challenges. You create situations where tough decisions have to be made. And the Lakers, whether we want to admit it or not, are approaching one of those decision points. Now I know what you're thinking. Why would we even consider moving someone who's been this good for us? Why would we break up something that's working on an individual level? And those are fair questions, but NBA front offices don't just think about today, they think about 2 years from now. They think about cap flexibility. They think about roster construction and how pieces fit together. They think about whether the current path leads to championships or just continued first-round exits. And this is where Austin Reeves enters a very interesting situation. Yes, I'm talking about Austin Reeves, the player who's been absolutely phenomenal for us this season. The player who's earned every bit of respect and every dollar he's about to command. But also the player who finds himself in a unique contract situation that could make him available in trade discussions. And there's a team out there that's been watching his development very closely. A team that believes they can offer him something the Lakers might not be able to. A team with cap space, with young talent, with a vision for building something special around a backcourt pairing that could be lethal for the next decade. The Detroit Pistons are positioning themselves to make a major move. They're not interested in small tweaks at the trade deadline. They're interested in a franchise-altering acquisition, and they believe Austin Reeves is that player. They believe that pairing him with Cade Cunningham creates one of the most dynamic backcourts in the NBA. They believe his offensive versatility, his ability to score 26 a night, his playmaking, his shooting, all of it fits perfectly with what they're building in Detroit. Let me break down why the Pistons are so confident this move makes sense for them. Cade Cunningham is their franchise cornerstone, a player with all-NBA potential who's showing exactly why he was the #1 overall pick. He's averaging similar numbers to Reeves this season, demonstrating that two-way ability that every team craves in their lead guard. But Cade needs help. He needs a running mate who can take pressure off him, who can create offense independently when needed, who can space the floor and make winning plays. The Pistons have tried different combinations, but they haven't found that perfect complement yet. Reeves solves that puzzle immediately. His shooting ability means defenses can't load up on Cade. His ball handling means the Pistons can stagger their stars and always have elite playmaking on the floor. His ability to play both on and off the ball means he and Cade can coexist seamlessly, taking turns creating and scoring. It's the kind of pairing that championship teams are built around. Think about the great backcourt duos in NBA history. Think about how they complemented each other's strengths and covered each other's weaknesses. That's what Detroit envisions with Cade and Reeves, and here's what really makes this compelling from Detroit's perspective. They have the financial flexibility that the Lakers don't. They can offer Reeves a massive extension without batting an eye. They're not worried about luxury tax implications. They're not juggling multiple max contracts. They can make him one of the highest-paid guards in the league and still have room to build around him and Cade. That's a powerful recruiting tool when you're trying to convince someone to leave Los Angeles for Detroit. But it's not just about the money. The Pistons are building something real. They have young talent across the roster. They have draft picks to continue adding pieces. They have a coaching staff that's proven they can develop players. They're a team on the rise, and adding a player like Reeves accelerates that timeline dramatically. Instead of hoping to be competitive in 3 years, they could be competing for playoff spots immediately and building toward championship contention within a couple seasons. And here's where it gets really interesting from a basketball perspective. Reeves has always been a solid three-point shooter, 37% for his career. He's someone who can thrive playing off the ball, cutting, spacing the floor, making the right read. But what's changed in the last 2 seasons is his on-ball ability. His capacity to create his own shot, to run pick and roll, to be the primary ball handler and playmaker. That transformation is what's turned him from a nice role player into a potential all-star. The Pistons look at that and they see exactly what they've been searching for. They need someone who can get his own shot when Cade is off the floor. They need someone who can play off Cade when they're together, spotting up, moving without the ball, making the defense pay for helping off him. They need shooting, they need ball handling, they need someone who can carry offensive possessions. Reeves checks every single box. Defensively, sure, Reeves isn't going to make any all-defensive teams. But in Detroit's system, surrounded by their young defensive pieces, his limitations on that end would be much easier to hide than they are in Los Angeles, where we're already struggling defensively as a team. The Pistons have the personnel to switch to help to cover for each other. They can scheme around Reeves' defensive weaknesses while maximizing his offensive strengths. That's smart roster construction. From Detroit's perspective, this is a no-brainer move if they can pull it off. They get a 27-year-old entering his prime with clear all-star trajectory. They get someone who fits perfectly with their timeline and their star player. They get someone who addresses multiple needs at once. And they have the financial flexibility to pay him what he's worth, something the Lakers might struggle with given our cap situation. Now let's talk about what this means for us as Lakers fans. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. We're in win-now mode with LeBron James still performing at an elite level. We have Anthony Davis in his prime. We don't have the luxury of thinking 3 years down the line. Every decision we make has to be about maximizing our championship window right now. So the question becomes, does keeping Reeves at a massive salary improve our championship odds more than trading him for assets that could help us in different ways? That's where the analysis gets murky. On paper, Reeves is fantastic. The numbers are undeniable. But championship teams aren't built on paper. They're built on fit, on chemistry, on having the right mix of skills and personalities. And there's a legitimate argument that the Lakers need different pieces around LeBron and AD than what Reeves provides. Maybe we need an elite defensive wing who can guard the Kevin Durants and Kawhi Leonards of the world. Maybe we need a traditional point guard who can orchestrate offense without needing high usage. Maybe we need size and rim protection. These are the conversations happening in our front office right now. Trading Reeves to Detroit would hurt. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It would hurt emotionally because he's become a fan favorite. It would hurt basketball-wise because he's been our most consistent player. But if the return is significant, if we're getting back young talent and draft capital that can be flipped for win-now pieces, if we're creating financial flexibility to make other moves, then maybe it's the tough decision that needs to be made. Now, here's where this gets deeply personal for me as a Lakers fan. On one hand, I understand the basketball logic. I understand that sometimes you have to make tough decisions to build a championship roster. I understand that contract situations and cap management matter. I understand that fit is crucial and that having 3 ball-dominant players who struggle defensively can create problems. But on the other hand, this is Austin Reeves we're talking about. This is a player who represents everything we love about Lakers basketball. Undrafted. Overlooked, came here and worked his tail off to become a star. Bleeds purple and gold, plays with heart every single night. The idea of trading him, especially to a team like Detroit, a team he purposely avoided in the 2021 draft, that's a bitter pill to swallow. It feels wrong on a gut level. It feels like giving up on something special before we've even seen it fully develop. Because what if the chemistry issues get worked out? What if the defense improves? What if this core, with another year together, another offseason to build continuity, becomes something truly special? But I also know that NBA front offices can't make decisions based on feelings. They have to make decisions based on cold, hard analysis. And the cold, hard analysis says that Austin Reeves is going to command a significant contract extension. It says that paying him $25 to $30 million a year alongside LeBron and AD creates cap challenges. It says that his defensive limitations alongside our other stars create schematic problems. It says that his contract situation makes this the optimal time to get maximum value in return if you're going to move him. The Pistons would have to give up a lot to get Reeves. We're not talking about a salary dump. We're talking about getting back young talent, draft picks, pieces that could help us both now and in the future. The kind of return that could reshape our roster and give us different paths to building a championship team. Whether that's enough, whether any package would be enough to part with a player of Reeves' caliber and fit with our culture, that's the billion-dollar question. Here's what I think as someone who's watched every Lakers game this season, who's seen Reeves dominate night after night, who's seen him embrace this city and this franchise. I think the Lakers should do everything possible to keep him. I think you find a way to make the money work. I think you build around LeBron, AD, and Reeves as your core three. I think you address the defensive issues through coaching, through scheme, through adding the right role players around them. I think you bet on talent and on players who want to be Lakers. But I'm also realistic enough to know that if the Lakers front office decides that the fit isn't right, that the money doesn't work, that the return from Detroit is too good to pass up, then they'll make that move. And if they do, I'll trust that they have a plan. I'll trust that they're seeing something we're not seeing from our seats. I'll trust that they're making the decision they believe gives us the best chance to win championships. The next few weeks are going to be absolutely crucial. The trade deadline is approaching. Contract extension discussions are happening. The Pistons are serious about making a big move, and Austin Reeves finds himself at the center of it all. A player who's earned everything he's gotten, who's outplayed every expectation, who's become genuinely indispensable to what we do on the court. Whether he finishes this season in purple and gold, or whether he's heading to Detroit to team up with Cade Cunningham, that's the story we're going to be following intensely. I want to hear from you in the comments. Drop your thoughts below because this is a conversation every Lakers fan needs to be having right now. And listen, if you're not subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report yet, now is the time. We're going to be covering every development in this story, every trade deadline move, every contract negotiation, every bit of news that impacts our team. Hit that subscribe button, smash the notification bell because you don't want to miss a single update. We're your source for breaking news, in-depth analysis, and the honest Lakers talk you won't get anywhere else. Like this video if you appreciate the detailed breakdown, share it with your fellow Lakers fans, and let's build this community together. As for my final take as a die-hard Lakers fan, I'm choosing optimism. I'm choosing to believe that we find a way to keep Austin Reeves in Los Angeles. I'm choosing to believe that our front office recognizes what he means to this team, both on the court and in the locker room. I'm choosing to believe that we can make the money work, that we can improve the defense, that we can build a championship roster around our core. But I'm also prepared for whatever decision gets made, because I trust this organization to do what's best for winning banners. Reeves has given us everything this season, and whether he stays or goes, he'll always be remembered as someone who fought for this franchise. That's what the Lakers do. That's who we are. And whether Reeves stays or goes, we're going to support this team and chase number 18. Stay locked in, Lakers Nation. This story is just getting started.